I know how daunting it is just to go to the event itself. And I know how hard it is. If you are a non-native English speaker, you've just arrived in a country that everything is new to you, everything just feels and sounds is so difficult. It's super daunting. It sometimes feel paralyzed if you're like me, who's an introvert, and you need to go into the sea of people just to meet people confidently. I've got a lot better now. I cannot do it all by myself without the help of ChatGPT. In the past 2 years, it helped me to prep interviews, to prep networking. Now I can actually, sometimes I don't need that much help anymore. This is something that you can use too. Have everything in your back pocket with you. Go out there, be the first one to say hi. And in this video, I just want to share how I actually use ChatGPT as a networking co-pilot. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Lydia here. This month, I have been to so many events. Events I host for myself, events I host for my company, events I think that's relevant to my business and also personal. Sometimes I had zero prep time. If you are new to the channel, I'm a banker turned entrepreneur, so I've been trying to build a network as much as possible. I'm also not a native English speaker, even though my English now is fine. I talked a lot about ChatGPT, how I use it every day to make my life easier. And I've been using ChatGPT for 2 years, dedicated every day, almost live in ChatGPT. And in this video, I just want to share how I actually use ChatGPT as a networking co-pilot, as a non-native English speaker. I get you, it's super daunting. It sometimes feel paralyzed if you're like me, who's an introvert, and you need to go into the sea of people just to meet people confidently. I've got a lot better now. I cannot do it all by myself without the help of ChatGPT. This is something that you can use too. And even if you're an English fluent speaker, I think you can get something from it too. So this is my 3-step way of using ChatGPT before, during, and after the event. This is a simple system I use. It's called Hello, Hello. Before the event, we have Head Start, which is H, and E, which is 5 minutes easy opener. So usually what I'm gonna do before the event is sometimes I really have no time to prep whatsoever. Like life is so busy, it's busy enough without the events, and sometimes with the events, you just feels like you're drowning in water. I get you. And especially if you're like me, who's not an English speaker, I used to be super shy and I used to not know how to express myself. I think the first time I did an interview for Hong Kong University, I failed massively. I failed on the first sentence just to introduce myself. So I get it. It's very tough. So we're gonna run through an imaginary scenario, and I'm just using the most basic auto one. So this is my prompt. I'm going to an event next month, the COP30 in Brazil. I'm not going. I will say who I'm going to meet. For me, it's CEOs and founders, policymakers, connector in the system. My goal is to either meet some people who are podcast guests or investors for intros or peer founders. You can ask ChatGPT to create a 1-page brief, 3 conversation hooks that are relevant to both of us, 2 friendly openers per person, non-cringe. Sometimes if you're a non-native and if you're new to the country and the culture, I've encountered countless situations that people just address me as madam, or I've heard scenarios in interviews even. People just address the interviewer as sir, which is not necessary. You don't have to go that far. And then 1 light ask per person. Let's see how it's going to help us prep. This is the H and E part, which is 5-minute head start. You can totally just copy paste the entire thing and do it on your way to the event. That's how usually I do it. After ChatGPT generate, it's really quick, right? So let's make it feel like something you could print or glance before walking to COP30, side event or networking breakfast. So usually what I do is I'm a listener type of people, and I also think learning from ChatGPT about the pronunciation is very good. So I just usually have no time. I will just type it into ChatGPT on my way to the event. I will listen to it. So just to get a sense of how it feels like, I'm going to also use the voice mode to show it a little bit how it's like, and then I will put this toggle here. Perfect. It's just
let's make this feel like something you could print or glance at before walking into a COP30 side
it's just
event
a small speaker symbol here.
Here's a 1-page warm, human, and practical brief that fits your voice and goals. COP30 Brazil.
And then you can just
Conversation and
totally
connection
read through it.
brief. 1. Finance that actually helps projects move faster. How new blended or results based models are letting climate founders scale without waiting for perfect MRV or carbon prices. 2. The rise of practical optimism. Many founders are balancing deep climate anxiety with a sense of agency, turning frustration into action. Curious what's giving you hope these days? 3. Connecting silos. CEOs, founders, I love hearing origin stories. What sparked your first idea for company project name? Light ask, would you be open to a quick 15-minute follow-up next week? I host a podcast on founder journeys and would love to feature your story.
Okay, so the idea is not for you to listen to everything. That's just the way that I use it. I think their studies shows that our brain actually learn better when we're actually moving. So I would input a prompt when I'm still at the place I'm sitting down. I input a prompt, then I will wait until I need to walk somewhere and listen it on the go. Of course, if you have time, just read through it. Practice on your own. You can even practice together with ChatGPT about all of these prompts. Once you have those more specific prompts for people that you targeted wanted to meet, unavoidably, if you go to any of the events, you would just meet random people. Like some people, even if they sounded like random for your goal on the day, I would say you will want us to strive to meet as many people as possible, and you want everyone to remember you as fondly as possible. So I always ask a few openers that I can always ask no matter who I meet. And this is the prompt that I think is very useful. I don't use these kind of like structured prompts anymore. So this my ChatGPT is very customized, so I just like talk to ChatGPT about my day to day. You can watch the video about how I use it as a chief of staff and how I use it as a personal assistant. But if you're new to ChatGPT and you really wanted to have a structure, a prompt, these are for you. Like here, it gave me 6 simple natural openers you can memorize and adapt easily at COP30. You can change to whatever events that you want to go to. For example, I'm curious and inspired of what that you start working on something, and is there a turning point? All of these questions are designed to have an open conversation. It should never be like, how's your day? Fine, it's not a bad question, but I don't understand why people are still using that question as an opener, especially at a networking event that you want to stand out. As a person, people want to remember you. Like the goal is really for people to remember you, and simple and easily to communicate what you are working at and how you can provide value to the other counterpart. So these are also like very open-ended questions, and you can have some kind of follow-ups. Just for a disclaimer, I don't follow it word by word anymore because I've been doing it so often and so frequently. But having those in my back pocket, and sometimes I'm just like, when I'm brain dead sometimes, like when at events I just have no energy whatsoever to have conversations. Having something on the side that you're able to like even just to glance it a little bit is super super helpful. The hello method, we have went through the H and E, which is a head start and an easy opener. And now we go into the event. You're in the event, people, they will say hello to you. You remember some people, you may or may not remember some other people. You may or may not be able to even like get their names or LinkedIn. But you don't have to remember everyone. Don't put that stress on yourself. But if you did have a nice conversation with someone and you remember how you meet, what kind of scenarios you met, like is it before a certain panel or after a coffee break or something like that, you can all log it during the event. And that's how I usually do it. Ideally, you want it to be able to log, let's say it's a 2-day event, you wanted to log it like during lunchtime or at a coffee break at least every few hours, so that you don't forget everything. During is the framework is called capture and connect. Part is during the event you wanted to listen and log, and also have a link and light ask at the end. I have input this imaginary scenario. I met this guy called James who works at a bioplastic startup. We met before lunch break. Ideally, you wanted to be able to like recall as much as possible the details, so then you can also recall their memory in their head as well. So then they immediately was brought back to the day and how they have met you. And so these are my rough notes. These are the prompts, and you have how do you log them, and then the follow up. And immediately it has generated all the follow ups, the meeting summary, what I care about, practical application of science, things like that, what I promised, and a light ask automatically done. I think it's hugely helpful because Usually when we went to an event, there's a lot of excitement, right? You met, I don't know, like 20, 30 people. But at the end, after the events, that's the most like labor intensive part and difficult part to manage, because you met so many people. Even just the thought of you have to write down emails for 10 people is already daunting. I usually just like every time I met some people, I would just jot down a little bit of notes. We are on our phone anyway, so ideally after you meet one person, you just take like 2 minutes to just write it down. Because during the event, you have listen and log, really understand the other person, what they care about, who they are as a person, and then you have a light ask, so then you have an excuse to follow up with people. So I know, for example, Monica or Sylvia, they're really into direct air capture. This is how I remember them. We have met previously, yada yada, that has some other events, and we met again today. And I promise that I'm going to send this podcast or the other documents or the news that I saw somewhere about direct air capture. That's how you really build a relationship, and not just another hello and the connection on LinkedIn. So, and then I think that's what really makes ChatGPT a co-pilot that's really helpful here. So we have gone through hello is HELL. Finally, it's organize. Organize and follow up. I have this 5-5-5 framework, which is you want to be able to at least follow up with 5 people. You have the momentum going. You definitely can reach out and follow up with more people if you have the energy on the day or within 24 hours. But start with 5. Start with something, anything. Like even one is better than none, right? Follow up within 24 hours. That's back in the days, back in business school, people, the career center have taught me this. Like always follow up within 24 hours, no matter what you like. It's either interview, a networking situation, or anything. I don't know why though, this like what's the science behind it, but it kind of worked. I think it's just because after a day people kind of move on with their life, but within a day people can still remember you. And then 5 lines maximum of the follow-up. Don't send like a page about who you are to people, right? The idea is to remind that person that you've met in this event and ask for a follow-up. That's the whole gist. Don't send too much. If they don't respond after 5 days, remind yourself to send them like a follow-up. People's life is busy. If you really care about this connection, it's never a bad idea just to reach out to someone. I know people have this like fear of rejection and things like that, but honestly, fear of rejection is something that we just have to go through in life. And most of the successful entrepreneurs, they are really good at getting the no's so that they can get to a yes. So nowadays I count the no's as like a collection, you know. You can even make it as a game. You can put that into like a rejection folder. I used to do that when I was way younger. I just got all the rejections for all the jobs that I applied for. It was very sad at the time, but when you look back, you realize how much you've progressed in life. So these are the prompts. We had 2 follow-ups for James. Let's see how it looks like. So email is around like 100 words. Hi James, was lovely chatting before the lunch. Now the memory hook is really helpful, right? Because then you can also remind them like how do you meet, and then it's LinkedIn DM if people don't respond, because sometimes I just track people down different platforms. Sometimes people are much better on DM, LinkedIn. Some people are much better on emails. Emails is like a longer reply cycle, so you wanted to prep yourself, and that's why you also wanted to send like a reminder for yourself after 5 days. If people don't respond, what would you want to do? If we are going to meet a lot of people, I also have this prompt. It was to put a markdown table to paste into Notion. This is my prompt. You can do other stuff, and then they will give you the color coded tag column even just for you to, so you automatically have everyone. This is the name of the guy, his role and a company, what we talked about, next step, and due dates. You can remind yourself for next week, and then you can tag them as like warm lead. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole gist of it. And finally, after the event, we've gone through the hello framework. I know how daunting it is just to go to the event itself, and I know how hard it is. If you are a non-native English speaker and you just arrive in a country that everything is new to you, every language norm, everything feels and sounds and you experience is so difficult, And having something on your pocket, having something you know is going to teach you the norms and tell you, at least on business environment, yes, ChatGPT can sound a little bit like robotic, but that's how you wanted to customize it. You can watch all my videos in the past to learn how to customize it for your purpose. Let's assume you already have that. It's great to have something on the side to help you. That's why I also have like this very lightweight prompt for agent mode. I think you can run it on agent mode, or without agent mode. You really don't have to on agent mode. I'm gonna do it twice and just see what's the difference. So I have this complete prompt. It's all gonna be in the link in description below, and together with my productivity prompt and everything. This is for agent mode. Agent mode usually takes a while, so it starts to think, and then it would go through several things. The gather users profile. Certainly, this is very quick. Who did you meet? It's like, this is who I am. What is the goal? And then we continue the imaginary scenarios. The founder of a bio lunch podcast, 24 hours. Let's say it's like this. And then we can see how it looks like if it's just normal ChatGPT 5. It's the same prompt. Let's see. What are they going to give it to me? It also thinks a little bit. It's thinking. I need to help. Based on the profile, I will fill out about me and priority goal sections. It's thinking for 15 seconds. A networking log for Lydia. The quick. So I think the difference is really, it still asks the same thing. It's just, I think for the networking, do you have a preferred platform on LinkedIn? The agent goes through like step by step. It's really that I have something to work together with you. But the normal format, it gives you everything all at once. So for me, if you have access to a lot of agent mode quota, then use agent mode. It really helps. But otherwise, you can use this too. For example, if I just copy paste this whole thing to here and see how it looks like. Because it asked me the same, reply in 4 lines, so I reply in 4 lines. And then you're just gonna update the networking log like this. That's the main difference. But honestly, anything works. Don't push yourself too hard and say that you have to have the perfect platform or tool. Anything works as long as it's helping you. If you try Hello this week, the head start, easy opener, listen and log, light follow up, and organize. If you've tried this framework, let me know how it goes for you. As an introvert, as a shy person, literally, I cannot imagine how my life would be without the help in the past 2 years of ChatGPT. For all the help that it helps me to prep interviews, to prep networking, now I can actually, sometimes I don't need that much help anymore. It doesn't take that long. And I think not everyone has immediate access to like a speech coach or a networking coach or a life coach all the time. Using ChatGPT this way, it's my way to help you a little bit. And if you're struggling to feel like you don't want to be the first person to say hi, you have the Hello framework with you, you have everything in your back pocket with you, go out there, be the first one to say hi. I would do that. Hi, my name is Lydia. What's the highlight of your week? I sometimes, if I cannot think of anything, that's how I'm gonna go for as an opener. But now you have more specific prompt here. Let me know how you're using this, and we are also building a networking agent on the side as like a project for myself. It's really just fun. I hope that one day I can share it with everyone. And if you're new to this channel, I'm a banker turned entrepreneur. I share a lot now about how I use AI and ChatGPT about my life. I also host the podcast called Escape 9 to 5. I talk to entrepreneurs and successful like authors, professors about their portfolio life on this channel. It's so lovely to meet you here. I hope you stay, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you next time.